Hi everybody, it's Kristin. So yesterday I received in the mail the Laura Mercier Artist Palette, the new one. And I put a picture on Instagram and said, is anybody interested in a 4 Looks 1 palette? And it was a resounding yes. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and start this morning. So that's what we're doing today. This is your first 4 Looks 1 palettes. I have, I think, 12 or 13 others. I do have a playlist on my channel. You can check those out. But as with each one, I will kind of tell you about the look, zoom you in, come back, and then I'll show you what I have on the rest of my face. And we'll talk about the palette at the very end of the video. So today I decided, normally I start with a real natural look. Today I was like, you know what? Let's go smoky and bold. So I used, on the outer 2/3 of my eye, I used Violet Ink, which is a matte color right there. I'll also link below any nail polish I'm wearing all week long, by the way. Plum Smoke, right there, is in the inner third. And then I used Truffle in the crease. And then I used Vanilla Nuts as my brow bone transition color, which will probably happen frequently. For eyeliner, I used the Jordana, what's this called? 12 Hour Made to Last Liquid Eye Pencil. All over. Up, lower, bottom, everywhere. Yeah, so let me zoom you in and I'll show you the look. Okay, so here's the look. Then on the rest of my face, I used the Bare Minerals Loose Blush in Perfect Rose, which maybe the best way is to show you like that. Looks like that. Or it looks like that. And on lips today, on my lips today, I have MAC's Craving. It's a very pretty rosy pink, and that's an amplified. And then over top of that, because it just was a little too pink for me once I put it on, I used this Borghese gloss in Celestial, which looks like this. I was going to use Almond Crush from Maybelline, but I can't locate. I think it's in my purse. So. Today you'll notice the lighting is a tad bit different because it's the weekend, and so I actually have daylight out there instead of, you know, just my artificial light. So I apologize if any of you don't like the change in lighting, but, you know, that's what it is. So today I have Bamboo all over my lid. I have Fresco, I believe that's the color, yes, Fresco into the crease. I used, again, Vanilla Nuts, and that's probably what I will use every day as my highlight color. And then to give some definition and just kind of give it a slight winged look, I used Espresso Bean. And that's kind of down in the warmer section, but I found it to be really cool, really a cool brown. And I also took that Espresso Bean down underneath most of my lash line, and I used some of the Bamboo on the inner third below my lash line. So I'll zoom you in. Okay, so here's the look. Wouldn't it be nice if I could have daylight every day? Okay, on the rest of my face today, I have the Pixi Black Cocoa Liner, just tight line. I don't have any liner on top, as you probably saw. For my blush, I used the Benefit Rockateur. Love, love, love. And on my lips today, all I have is the Smashbox Lip Enhancing Gloss in the color Fame. Today, I did more of a plummy, purpley eye. There's a lot of purple pink tones in this. Anyway, I used African Violet all over the lid, which is gorgeous. I understand why people talk about that one a lot. So I used that all over the lid. I used Fresco in the crease with a real fluffy brush because it's very pigmented. And then I used K-I-R, Cur Royal, or Cur Royale, I'm not sure what. I would say Royal because there's no E. I used that in the outer corner and pulled that into the crease. And then I used Vanilla Nuts as my highlight. And I kind of combined Espresso Bean and that Kid Royal together, and I pulled that underneath the lash line. So let me zoom you in. Okay, so here's the look. Okay, and then all I did was tight line. Again, I didn't line my top line. I'm not sure why I'm doing that lately, but I am. With the Jordana in black. And for blush today, I used my Wet n Wild in Pearlescent Pink on my lips. And this is the one in my haul that I showed a swatch, but I didn't show the package. It's the Essence Stay Matte Lip Cream. So it looks like this. And it is very matte. I'm going to show you one more time just because of the haul snafu. So it looks like that. So I have that, and it is very matte, very, very matte. So over top of that, I have the Bare Minerals Moxie in Spark Plug, I think it is. Yeah, in Spark Plug. I have that over top. Final look today, I decided to do something just a little bit different. I generally don't put anything with shimmer in the crease, but I know that it can have a really kind of fun look to it. So I've been playing around with that a little bit lately. So what I did today was put truffle all over the lid. And then I used bamboo in the crease with like a MAC 224, not like an actual MAC 224. And I used a little bit of Vanilla Nuts as my highlight, and then a little bit of Sparkling Dew in the inner corner. And that was all I did on my top, on my lid. On my lid. And then I used violet ink underneath, and then just a little bit, I kind of connected the eyeliner that I put on top, which I'll tell you in a second, with that same kind of shadow. So I'll zoom you in, and then I'll tell you what's on the rest of my lid. Okay, so here is the look. Just something a little bit different for me, a little bit of a departure. So on my top lash line, I used the Stila Kajal in Amethyst. I kind of just did a real kind of light layer of that, I guess. And then in my tight line, I used the Jordana 12 Hour Made to Last in black. I think that is everything that I have on my eyes. For blush today, I used the L'Oreal blush in Baby Blossom, which is C1-2. This is one Crystal sent me, and I do like that. On my lips, I have Self Culture from MAC for a lip liner. And I started with Angel, and then didn't love that, so I put Cream Cup over it. So, you know, that's Angel. And then this is Cream Cup. They're a little bit different. So I want to talk a little bit about the palette. It's hard for me to remember when I do them so many days apart, but I think in the beginning I did talk about how many matte finishes there are. But in this row here, Violet Ink is matte and Plum Smoke is matte, so these two colors right here. And then in this one, Fresco, Vanilla Nuts, Truffle, and Espresso Bean are matte. So Espresso Bean, Truffle, Fresco, and then Vanilla Nuts. I'll swatch those for you. So here are the swatches on my hand. This is that violet ink, so that's that row. The more purpley row, and then that's the more kind of warm brown toned row. So my overall thoughts on this palette are, I do like it. I don't think it's the most unique palette I've ever played with. Not that it's claiming to be, but I don't think it's the most unique. I think that there are a couple of standout shades in this, and Fresco is one of them, Bamboo, and then African Violet. But probably Fresco is one I really, really enjoy, and that is that one right there. It's a really nice crease color. It also would be very nice as a one shade all over the lid. So I enjoy that one, and I did of course enjoy Bamboo, which is right here. And then African Violet is right there. So it is a nice shade. If you don't enjoy kind of your plummy purples, I don't think you necessarily love this palette, but it was fun. I enjoyed playing with it, and I don't use those colors a lot, so it was a good, again, that's one of the reasons why I like the 4 Looks 1 palettes. It's kind of brings out a little more creativity in me. I have to kind of think through things a little bit, and so yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them below. Before I tell you what I wore throughout the whole video on my face, I have a quick question. So my question is this. I'm going to try to do this, I think, at the end of a 4 Looks 1 Palettes and give you 2 options as far as which one you would like to see next. And this doesn't mean I'm not going to do one or the other. I'll probably do a 4 Looks on both of them. I'm just curious which one you'd like to see first. So this is the Balm Jovi. I showed this in a recent haul. So would you like to see 4 Looks 1 palette with that, or with the It Cosmetics? This is a really long name, but you know the one, the anti-aging blah, 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 which looks like that. So let me know below which one you guys would like to see. And then on the rest of my face throughout the whole video, I wore the Rouge Bunny Rouge, I'll grab it here, the Rouge Bunny Rouge Aqua Primer, and then the Rouge Bunny Rouge Anti-Aging Foundation in 52 Quinoa Cream Wore that throughout the entire video, and I think the only other thing to tell you is mascara. Throughout the whole video, I wore the Chanel Le Volume de Chanel, and then separated out, because you have to, with the Buxom Lash, because I like the brush on that. So, I think that just about covers anything. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye!